Hi, I'm Bob Doyle, the creator and the facilitator of the Wealth Beyond Reason program, which is an online curriculum in the law of attraction. One of the components of our education is a process called EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. And this is a process that helps you deal with negative feelings, limiting beliefs, and all of these things. When you start learning about the law of attraction, you quickly get confronted with some of the stuff that you believe that has actually kept you stuck in a place, or you keep bringing the same things into your life that you don't want. That's all about resistance. It's about a pattern of energy that is consistent in your life. And what the EFT process allows you to do is to neutralize that energy so that it no longer has that attractive power, and you're free to create and attract other things that you do want. So again, resistance normally shows up in the form of limiting beliefs or negative feelings. When you're feeling bad about something, you're generally in a state of some sort of resistance, and the EFT process helps you do that. Now, I want to say that I am not a EFT practitioner per se, although I use it all the time on myself, and I help students in our program with it constantly. I mean, I definitely can, with confidence, pass the process on to you this way, but if you want to learn more about it, I'll have a few URLs at the end of this video that you can check out to really get educated on it, because it's worth getting educated on. And you're also going to find, when you do a little research, that the way that I'm showing you may be different than the way that you originally learn it, or have heard other practitioners do it. And you're going to find that across the board. EFT is just one of these processes that people tend to personalize. They find ways around it and shortcut it, and ways that are effective for them, maybe in their style. So that's normal. I'm going to show you the process that I use on myself, and when I'm in a teleseminar setting or whatever, doing this with people who are on the line. Generally, when I'm working with someone like Carol Look or Brad Yates, another EFT practitioner, I don't lead EFT teleseminars myself, just so that you're clear on that. So, but the process is basically, it involves tapping various parts of your face and body, which are along the meridians, the energy meridians that run through your body. And these are points along the meridians that, when tapped, do something to neutralize the energy. Now again, I'm being vague because I can't explain the science of it as much as somebody else could. That's why I'm inviting you to go check out these resources where you can learn exactly how this is working. But it's based on Chinese acupuncture, but instead of using needles, you're using just this tapping motion, and it can be done very quickly. Even though I totally acknowledge that it looks kind of weird and silly and unbelievable and all of those things, I resisted this process for a long time myself because of those very thoughts. But one day I just decided to give it a try at somebody's prompting again, and I felt the difference in my mood and my emotion so viscerally that I knew that we were onto something here, and I kept using it for myself, and again, eventually introduced it into the Wealth Beyond Reason program, and it's a huge part of the program, and results of students who have been using it as part of the program are phenomenal. So, and I can't ignore them. So you can learn more about the science of it elsewhere, but I'm going to show you the process. Basically, the idea is that you want to tune in to whatever that limiting belief or that negative feeling is. However that makes you feel, you want to be inside of that emotion, because that's when your energy is, I guess, vibrating at that frequency, and this process then neutralizes that, sometimes for good. So you want to be in that feeling, and there's several things that you do in the process that help you kind of stay tuned in. One of them is called a setup phrase. And a setup phrase would be something along the lines of, even though I don't believe I deserve money, or whatever your issue is, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now, I could get into that. That brings up a bunch of stuff. When you say those words, it could be negative feelings, it could be positive feelings. But the point is, you're responding appropriately, and you're bringing stuff up that you're about to work on with this tapping. While you are saying that setup phrase, you're tapping on what is referred to as the karate chop point, and it's just the back of your hand here. You use maybe 2 or 3 fingers to tap while you're saying that setup phrase. And this is actually interacting with your body's energy system. Again, don't ask me how, but just try it and you'll see. So you'd say something like, even though I don't believe I deserve to be wealthy, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And you do that 3 times, all the while tapping. And then there's, again, so many different ways to do this. You can keep repeating the same phrase over and over as you go through the tapping. You can talk through a whole range of phrases. I invite you to go to one of these resources and listen to some of the recordings that we have, and you'll hear different ways that other practitioners do it. But the most basic way to do it is something along the lines of, if we were going to continue on that deserving wealth thing, you would tap first here on the top of your eye or inside the eye here, and you would say, I don't deserve wealth. And really feel how that feels to you emotionally. And you want to, sometimes before you start the process, you want to gauge an emotional level, 0 being you don't feel anything, and 10 being it's very, very intense, so that you can gauge your progress as you go along. So you get a number in your head, you start the process with the setup phrase, and then the points are right here, the top of the eye, the side of the eye, right here. Again, 2 fingers, just tapping lightly, about 7 times maybe, and then under the eye, okay, just like this along the bone there, under the nose, then under the mouth, like this, and then on your collarbone point. It's where the U of the collarbone comes together there. Just tap on one of those sides, and that's a collarbone point. And then you'll be under your arm, and if you were a woman, it would be about where your bra strap was. So it's right about there. Guys, you'll have to use your imagination. Okay, and then the top of the head. Well, there's another one too. There's one like maybe 2 inches below the nipple level, which may be awkward to get to depending on who you are, but that's another optional point that I sometimes use. And then the top of the head, okay, like the very back, the crown of your head, basically. Okay, so you would say, I don't deserve wealth. I don't deserve wealth, I don't deserve wealth, I don't deserve wealth. You know, not so like that. You really want to get into the emotion, and it helps to say it out loud and do those things, but really feel what it is that you're feeling. And then at the end of the process, when you finish on the head, you can just take a deep breath and take notice of how you feel emotionally. How intense is that emotion now? If it's less intense, if you brought it down to a 5 or even a 0, you're making progress, you can keep going and paying attention to what kind of comes up for you, and see if there's maybe other areas that you feel like you ought to do the process on. But what I want to get at is that if you're just looking at this for the first time and it looks all crazy, all I can say is try it, because that's the only way, that's the only thing that convinced me, and you can do it in the privacy of your own home. No one has to watch you tapping. There are ways to do this process without tapping, which we talk about in our program. But try this one time. Just go through that simple tapping procedure and do it several times and watch that intensity level drop. Because when you're dropping that resistance, that intensity level going down, it's literally like lowering a force field that's been operating your life against things that you're trying to attract that bring up these limiting beliefs. So it's a very powerful process to learn. Watch the video again. Definitely explore the resources at the links I'm going to show you, because they'll really fill in the blanks, and you can, again, hear it being done by really good trained practitioners who really know how to walk people through their various issues.